This is the ultimate buyer's guide for digital artists. I'm gonna try and cover everything today. Let's talk about drawing tablets. When it comes down to it, you have three options, three different types of tablets, okay? You have display tablets, non-display tablets, and portable options. Display tablets let you draw directly on the screen. It offers a more natural and immersive drawing experience. In my opinion, these are really good for artists who want to bridge that gap between traditional and digital workflows. There's some really popular models I'd recommend. You have the Wacom Cintiq, which is your more professional, higher-end model. It's a premium choice with industry-led features. They've got really precise pens, great displays. Screen sizes range from compact to like pretty big. You've got like 16-inch models and 32-inch screens. I would recommend this model if you're already a professional and just looking to up your game, or if you're someone who needs to really pull out top-tier performance from their tablets. Now, typically these are pretty expensive, so let me give you a more budget-friendly option. The Huion Canvas has pretty comparable features. Models like the Canvas 13 and the Canvas 24 are really good budget-friendly options. These are really good for beginner or intermediate artists that are looking to get a nice display tablet without breaking the bank. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but this is the Huion Canvas 24. I use it pretty much every single day, and I have had absolutely zero issues with it. Pen quality and build quality is nice, just a little bit less than the Wacom, but overall, I've been using it for about 2 years. It gets the job done just fine. There's also the XP Pen Artist Pro series to consider. These tablets are a rising competitor in the tablet space and offer better affordability with some pretty solid performance. Like the Huion tablets, if you're looking for something to balance affordability with performance, maybe something else you can look at. When it comes to choosing between a Huion or an XP Pen tablet, it really is up to the artist. I suggest doing your research on the small differences between the two of them. However, if you are a complete beginner, you aren't really going to notice the difference, and I think they're both really good entry-level display tablets. So why should you buy a display tablet? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, being able to draw directly onto the screen. Probably the biggest advantage of any tablet. And as an added bonus, I use mine as a second monitor. Like I'll watch my YouTube videos on this tablet screen, and then I'll be doing my work up there. It's pretty handy to have. And I like the 45-degree angle that it sits at. It's really nice for my neck, depending on how I'm sitting. I don't think a lot of people tell this to beginners, but ergonomics are really important. So I'm going to be trying to cover ergonomically friendly options as well in this video. Now, if you're looking for a more budget-friendly option to get into tablets, I would definitely recommend taking a look at non-display tablets. You're going to be drawing on the tablet, which is going to be appearing in a monitor that you set up. And some people think that's hard, but honestly, I've used them quite a bit, and after a few days, you don't really notice it. Here are three popular models you can take a look into. You have the Wacom Intuos. I would consider this to be a pretty reliable investment for beginners. It's compact, lightweight, and is super durable with 8,000 pressure levels. Then you have the Huion Inspiroi, I don't know how to pronounce it. With this one, you have pretty competitive pricing to the Wacom Intuos. This one has some cool options like customizable buttons, and it's pretty responsive as well. And the third option that I want to show you is the XP Pen Deco. This one offers a large workspace at a lower price point. I would say the XP Pen Deco stands out a little bit with its ergonomic pen design, and it has a pretty user-friendly setup from my experience. So if you are a complete beginner and you're looking to get into drawing, 2D, 3D art, you're probably gonna need a tablet. If you don't even know you like it or not yet, I would definitely say go for a non-display tablet. They're super affordable and a really great entry point for hobbyists and budding professionals. And one thing that a lot of people don't talk about too much is that they're really portable. You can just unplug it and go, and they're not like these heavy clunky ones. The display tablets are a lot bigger and a lot heavier, and the non-display tablets are pretty light. You can just unplug them and carry around in your backpack. And your third option, you have portable tablets. These are standalone tablets, and the benefits are you can take these anywhere you go. They're small, they're portable. They don't need to be hooked up to a PC to do anything. They've got their own internal systems. They just turn them on and go. So if you are an artist who travels frequently, or if you want a singular device for art and more general use, maybe consider getting one of these. First option is looking into iPads with an Apple Pencil. These guys are the industry leaders in portable drawing. They've also got really awesome apps like Procreate, which I highly recommend. You have Affinity Designer and Adobe Fresco, which are all professional grade applications you can use on an iPad. If you're an artist that wants to prioritize portability without sacrificing quality, definitely look into an iPad. And I know some of you don't like Apple. Some people like me like Android, so I got something for you. I want to introduce you to the Samsung Galaxy Tab with S Pen. The Galaxy Tab is really compatible with some great Android apps like Infinite Painter and Clip Studio. So if you're an Android user who wants a powerful and a little more affordable device, you can go with this one. Now for my Windows fanboys, we have the Microsoft Surface. I'll be totally honest, I've used one before, but I have less experience with this one. But the Surface comes with the full Windows operating system, and I use Windows for my main PC, so That would be pretty handy. And since it's a Windows operating system, that also means you could run full software on here like Photoshop or Blender. Although the system itself isn't as powerful as a regular PC, so you'd be pretty limited in what you do. However, it does handle drawing just fine. So if you are an artist who enjoys and prefers a Windows operating system and you want something for productivity, rendering, drawing, a general purpose, portable productivity tablet, maybe check this one out. Okay, so I get it. That's a lot of tablets. So which one is best for me? Well, I can't tell you. It really depends on what your needs are, but I can nudge you in the right direction. If you want a professional grade experience, go with the Wacom Cintiq or the Huion Canvas. If you're on a tight budget or just starting out, opt for a Wacom Intuos or a Huion Inspiroy. If you're prioritizing portability and you have some money to spend, I would definitely look into the latest iPads. They're getting more and more powerful every year. If you're on a budget, then take a look at the Galaxy Tab S or the Microsoft Surface. Keyboards, they may not seem like they're important, but to some designers, they are. And I also really like keyboards. So let's talk about them a little bit. There's actually a lot of different types of keyboards that I want you to consider. Your first option are full size keyboards. If you have a lot of desk space or you find that you're constantly inputting numbers, then having the keypad on the side is going to be really good for you. If this sounds like you, then you can check out the Logitech MX keys. It features a sleek, low profile design, which is ideal for creative professionals. You can also check out the Razer Black Widow V4 Pro. It's durable, customizable, and equipped with mechanical switches. For a more compact option, you have 10 keyless keyboards, also called TKL Keyboards. You may have seen these before. These are the more compact ones without the numpads on the side. Frees up a ton of desk space. If you're an artist who needs a more minimalist setup or you don't really input numbers too often, then this could be a really good pick for you. Some options include the Corsair K70 RGB TKL. It's compact, customizable RGB lighting and mechanical keys, or you could take a look at something like the Keychron K2. It's wireless, ergonomic, and compatible with Mac OS and Windows. And then in the even smaller size, you have the 60% keyboards. These keyboards are purely minimalist. They're totally stripped down, no arrow keys, no function keys, no numpad. If you're an artist with very limited desk space, or you like that super minimalistic look, or you want a more portable keyboard, these are really great portable keyboards, you can look into something like this. Something like the Anne Pro 2. It's compact, wireless, and it's really ideal for clean setups. You also have the Razer Huntsman Mini, which features high performance optical switches in like a really small package. You may have heard the term mechanical keyboard before. These are keyboards that offer tactile feedback. You know, when you're typing, you hear the clicking, those are mechanical keyboards. They're super satisfying and they prioritize precision. They're really precise keyboards. You've also got the traditional membrane keyboards. These are less precise, but they are much quieter. So if you're in a space where you need to operate a little quietly or you like to operate a little quieter, definitely get one of those over a mechanical keyboard. One of the things I will say about mechanical keyboards is they're super fun to customize. There's an entire subgenre of people who are obsessed with customization of mechanical keyboards. It's a super cool hobby to get into, but it can also be a little bit expensive. But if you're looking for something fun to get into, you can check that out. From a design perspective, 2D or 3D, I would make sure to get a keyboard that have programmable keys. This means you can program keys on the keyboard to do anything you want with a single button press. So say you want to duplicate an object in Blender, you could press a key and it does that for you. Remember, this is your workflow, so I want you to think about what you're buying and how it's going to affect your workflow or how it can enhance your workflow. If you find that after a long session you have a lot of wrist pain, especially if you're typing on a keyboard, then you probably need to look into getting some sort of ergonomic keyboard. 2 ergonomic keyboards I would recommend looking into are the Microsoft Sculpt Ergonomic Keyboard and the Logitech Ergo K860. Remember how I was saying to look out for programmable keys on your keyboard? You can actually get shortcut specific devices that stand alone. I've actually got one right here. If you're a beginner, you do not need these, but let's include this because they're fun to talk about. These are compact tools that are designed to enhance your workflow by assigning commonly used functions, shortcuts, or anything else in easy to access physical buttons. There's the Elgato Stream Decks, and they come in a bunch of different sizes. With these, you can allow the assignment of macros, which means you can perform multiple commands at once, like open up a bunch of different tabs, open up several different software, all with a single press. It's really flexible. I'm an artist / content creator, so these are a little more useful for me. And it was obviously designed for streaming. So if you're gonna be streaming as well, then I would look into getting one, although it's not necessary. I'll be totally honest. It's a bonus. It's a flavor one. Okay, computers and laptops. Now, this can be a really complicated subject, but I'm considering this a bit of a beginner's guide, right? So I'm gonna try and boil this down into the simplest thing possible and let you know what to look out for when buying. RAM, processor, graphics card and storage. For RAM, at the bare minimum, you're probably going to want to look at getting 16 gigs. This will pretty much cover any 2D applications that you want to work on, and most 3D applications. I run 16 gigabytes on my computer. I've had like basically zero issues so far, but if you want to crank it up to the next level, go ahead and go to 32 as well, but it's a little bit of overkill right now. 16 will get the job done. Processors, okay? If you're looking to do just basic tasks, then an Intel i5 or Ryzen 5 will do you just great. But if you want smoother performance, maybe look at an i7 or Ryzen 7. Now, your graphics card is gonna be super important. If you're planning on doing anything like 3D work or more intensive stuff like that, I would highly recommend getting, at the very minimum, an NVIDIA GTX 1650. And storage is super important too, right? This really depends on your own personal needs, but I would say go 512 gigabytes is a pretty good start. Now you have two options between different types of hard drives. You have a regular hard drive, an HDD, and then you have a solid state drive. All you need to know is solid state is so much faster. So if you have the option to get a solid state drive, I would always go for that. They are wicked fast and not that much more expensive. So with that in mind, let's create a simple tier of super affordable laptops and computers and then work our way down to more expensive ones, okay? These are just ones that I want you to look at and consider. For the first affordable desktop, it's the HP Pavilion Gaming Desktop. It's great for beginners, handles 2D art and light 3D modeling. So if you're gonna be doing 3D modeling, maybe skip this one. If you want a really powerful desktop, on the other hand, I would take a look into Corsair Vengeance i7400. It's pretty expensive, but if you have the money, I say go for it. If you're getting into something like professional 3D animation or more rendering, this might be something a little more in your ballpark. So if you're a little more portable and you wanna take a look at laptops, then here's a good affordable option for you. The Acer Inspire 5 is perfect for 2D art, but it's pretty limited for heavy 3D tasks. And if you're working in more 2D or video editing and you want something a little more powerful, I would definitely recommend looking at the MacBooks. Something like the Mac Pro 14 or 16 with the new M3 chips and the M4 chips coming out soon are incredibly powerful machines. I'm gonna be buying one for myself very soon. These are incredible for all creative tasks and really are the gold standard for design right now. This is an extra bonus if you like Mac OS. However, they're more expensive, which is super annoying, but you're not compromising on quality when it comes to getting these. Now we can go into a ton of different details, but I'm gonna keep this simple for now. A few beginner tips for you if you're just starting out and don't really know what to buy. My number one tip, I would start simple, okay? A simple $500 USD to $700 USD laptop is totally fine if you're a complete beginner. Look, we all get FOMO, we wanna get the best stuff, but if you're a beginner, trust me, just get something nice and light to start, and then when you need to upgrade, you can upgrade later. Now, this isn't really useful for laptops, but if you're gonna get a PC, this is good news, because with PCs, the awesome thing about them is that you can upgrade them as you grow. You can replace singular parts and upgrade them, right? So if you start with 8 gigs, right? And you find that you're really limping with 8 gigabytes of RAM, you can upgrade that to 16 a little later on. And then when you're at 16, you can upgrade to 32. And the main rule of thumb between laptops and desktops is that you're really thinking about portable versus powerful. Laptops are way more portable. Desktops will give you much more power for a better price. For someone who wants to take design a little more seriously, here's something a little for you. You want to make sure that you get the right monitor because you want your colors to be accurate. That's the main thing here. In terms of resolution, you want at least 1080p full HD. And then if you can upgrade to 4K, then I mean, do it, but that's really going to depend on your graphics card as well if you want to play some games and stuff on there. If you're a complete beginner, for a monitor, I would recommend getting a 24-inch to 27 screen. Larger screens like the 32s, like the one behind me, this is a 32 or a 34, I can't remember. It's nice, but it's not necessary. I also wouldn't recommend getting a curved screen because if you're drawing straight lines and stuff, that actually ends up being curved on this monitor. It's not perfect, but it's also not a huge deal either. So let's give you some options here. For an affordable option, I would recommend the Asus ProArt display. It's a really great budget-friendly monitor with some really great color accuracy. I've actually got one right here, but it's buried under a pile of clothes right now. The next step up to that is the BenQ PD2700Q. It offers really good colors and sharp resolution. It's a 2K one, so it's definitely a step up. And then just for fun, let's talk about one of the most expensive ones. The ESO ColorEdge CS2740. It's very expensive. It's like more expensive than my computer. But this is supposedly for top tier artists who are super serious about color accuracy. I don't know, maybe if you're working at like Apple and you're like a lead design person, you need colors to be absolutely perfect. Maybe this is something that they'd recommend that you get, but I mean, they're gonna be buying this stuff for you anyway. But but it's just a cool thing to look at. I like expensive tech. Maybe we'll do a video about that later. External drive, super important for artists. Okay, so listen up. This one's gonna be important. I am a strong proponent that every single artist needs at least one external drive. Keeps your files safe and keeps all the mess off of your main computer. Backing up your artwork and designs is a non-negotiable, okay? And they're not too expensive. So, beginner's guide, what to look for, right? You can pick either an SSD solid state drive or an HDD. SSDs are more expensive, but way quicker. HDDs are cheaper, but slower. Take your pick. Now, memory isn't that expensive anymore, so I'd recommend just getting a 1 terabyte. It's gonna take a long time to fill up. They can go so big, dude. You can get massive ones, but 1 terabyte's a good start. If I would pick, I would still choose an SSD. What I like about them is they're really small and portable as well. So you can pop them in your pocket, or they go into your bag really easily. So for an affordable option, I would recommend looking at the WD Elements Portable HDD. It's a terabyte, budget friendly and reliable. And a slightly faster option is the Samsung T7 SSD. It's a terabyte as well. It's lightning fast. Take a look at it. And then on the higher end, there are things like the SanDisk Extreme Pro SSD. It's really good for handling massive files. So if you're working on projects where you have huge files, man, maybe look into that one. So some beginner tips for this stuff. Start small again. You don't need a massive monitor. You can honestly, if you're just learning to design, it's not going to be super crucial that you have the best monitor anyway. So just get like the cheapest monitor you can find if you're on like a really low budget. Just make sure the resolution is a minimum of 1080p. Honestly, finding a 720p monitor these days is like actually hard anyway. So if you manage to find one lower than that, like congratulations. I don't know how you did that, unless you got it from like a Value Village or something. Okay, let's talk about accessories. Now, there are a lot of accessories, and we could talk about this all day. So I want to keep it focused on essentials. And more importantly, I want to focus on your health, right? As a beginner, no one talks about ergonomics. And moving forward on this channel, I want to make sure that we really emphasize your physical health and your mental health. So a lot of these accessories are going to have ergonomics in mind. And then in a future video, if we want to go do all the fun, crazy accessory stuff, we can do that as well. That'll be fun too. Let's talk about one of the most important things that you're going to be buying for your entire setup, your chair. Now, there's an important rule. Anything that connects you to the ground, you should be paying a little extra for, okay? That goes for your shoes, your bed, chairs, desks, anything like that. You need to make sure that's going to be quality. Now, out of all of those things, I would say chair is going to be the most important thing. You're going to be spending 4-8 hours in your chair every single day. I would definitely prioritize making sure you spend a little extra on this one. Don't cheap out. That being said, let's take a look at a couple of the premium options. The first one is the cream of the crop. Some of the best chairs in the business are Herman Miller's, and one of their entry-level chairs is the Herman Miller Aeron. Now, the price of some of these chairs may make your jaw drop, but it's for a reason. These chairs are serious quality. I've sat in these babies before. They are just like sitting on a cloud. Truly amazing chairs, and they come with like a 15-year warranty, something like that. So it's worth it. It's fully adjustable. They all have breathable mesh material, tons of lumbar support. But let's be honest about the downsides. It's extremely expensive, and I've sat in them before. They're pretty big. So if you have a small space, it's not even gonna fit. If you like more of like a gamer chair, you can look at the Secret Lab Titan. It's not as good of an option, but in terms of gamer chairs, which are notoriously not comfortable and not good for you, this one's okay. I think the great thing about this chair is that it was actually built for comfort and not just to look cool, you know? So if you're a gamer or you're designing, this one is you're supposed to be able to sit in this one for like quite a while without having any issues. I've worked with these before, and the downsides to these ones is they're huge. They're big and they're bulky. And if you're a smaller person, they're really uncomfortable. So if you are on an absolute budget, okay, you can't afford any of these chairs, completely understandable and totally normal. What about some affordable options? The IKEA Marcus is a good one. It's got a high backrest, it's got adjustable height, tilt function, does all the chair things, you know? I would say I'm recommending this one because the build quality is decent for $200, and their comfort and support that it gives your back is also decent. There's also the Habata office chair. You've probably seen these in like some cheaper offices if you've worked there. Honestly, I have also sat in these chairs. In terms of the price range, I think it's okay. I found myself feeling pretty stiff after a while of sitting in these. So this one I'm only listing because if it's a last possible option. This one won't absolutely destroy your back, but you're probably gonna feel pretty uncomfortable, especially if you're an old man like me. Okay, invest in an ergonomic chair, okay? Another quick thing I want to touch on is tablet stands. Sometimes if you're working with a tablet, like a smaller tablet, on your desk, you're really hunched over, right? Because it's flat. That's not good. That's terrible for your back. that's really bad for your back and your neck. You can actually buy these stands that like attach to your desk, and they're these bendable, movable appendages that you can position anywhere in the physical space around you. It's pretty great. If you want to look at like a kind of pricier one, the Above Tech Premium stand is an okay option. It's made of sturdy aluminum, and when you push it, there's not really much give to it, so you could draw on it pretty comfortably. Screen protectors, super important. I actually don't have one on this tablet right now, but I've got one coming on the way. They're screens that you place on top of your tablet that reduce glare and help make your tablet really feel like you're drawing on paper. It gives you that real tactile feeling instead of you're drawing on glass or like plastic. Paper-like screen protectors are the most popular and probably one of the more expensive options, but they're really good. They're expensive for a reason. Really great quality. If you draw on an iPad, I definitely recommend picking one of these up. It's gonna not only make you feel like you're drawing on paper, but it's just gonna protect your screen, right? It's just gonna save you a little more money in the long run. But they do come with a downside that the extra texture on the paper will actually wear down the nibs on your stylus quicker. Okay, this one is a bit of a personal preference. I wouldn't include these in essentials, but I think once you get these, you just can't go back. And those are noise canceling headphones. As any sort of designer or artist, noise canceling headphones, one of the best investments you can do, especially if you're like at home living with your parents, you got siblings running around screaming. It's so amazing at cutting out distractions. Like you put these bad boys on, you put a lot of these headphones on, you can't hear a thing. And the audio quality is really great if you get some better ones. If you want something on the more expensive end, you can look at the Bose Quiet Comfort 45s. I have a pair. The battery life when you first get it is like 24 hours. It's pretty long. And the ear cups are really comfortable. If there were downsides, I'd say that they were expensive and they're pretty heavy. Another interesting option are the Sony WH-1000 XM5s. Around the same price, but they are absolutely incredible at noise cancellation. They are amazing. The audio is very high fidelity. The battery is like even longer than the Bose. They're like 30 hours. And the best thing that I've noticed about these is that you can wear them for a very long time. On the downside, again, they're pricey. They're a little bit more expensive than the Bose. And the design of them is really bulky. Like they really pop out. So if you like a more sleek design, these aren't the ones for you. If you want something more affordable, I also got you. The Anker Soundcore Space headphones are pretty decent and considerably cheaper than the other two options I just gave you. Noise cancellation is decent. The battery lasts about 20 hours. But on the downside, the sound quality is noticeably worse than the two previous ones. Let's talk about desks. Just like chairs, desks are another really important option that you don't really just want to grab one and in a throwaway thought. You want to consider a few things here. Number one, how big of a workspace do you want? Are you okay with a smaller, sleeker design? Or do you want a lot of space so you can put all your cool little trinkets and stuff on there? For me personally, I like a bigger desk. Number two, desk height. Desk height is super important. If you have a desk that's too low or too high, you are gonna mess up your shoulders, your back, your spine, and your neck. It's gonna be awful. A good cheap static desk to start is the IKEA Lin one. I just like it. I've got a few sitting around the house. I just like it because it's simple, it's functional, and it's got a decent amount of workspace for how cheap it is. And there's standing desks. I would highly recommend, again, if you can afford a standing desk, get one. Get one. Basically, standing desks have a little motor in them where you can raise and lower the height to however you want. If you've been sitting for an hour and you're tired of sitting, you can just put it up to standing height and you can stand and work. It's super healthy. As designers and artists, you should be standing, you should be taking breaks. And a standing desk just helps you do that so much better. Some downsides of standing desks, I mean, it's a little more annoying to put together. I've also destroyed cables because I've had cables get lodged under the legs and then put it into standing mode. There's no like check to see if there's a thing there. It's just gonna rip whatever is stuck in there right out. So you have to be really, really careful with your cables. But overall, for your overall health, it's 100% worth it. More premium standing desk is the Uplift V2 standing desk. It's just a nice, solid standing desk that works reliably. The motor, I've never had problems with the motor. And then if you want a more affordable option for about a half or a third of the price, you can get the FlexiSpot EC1. Again, it's just a decently built, reliable standing desk. It's really just to get you on your feet. So it'll get the job done. Let's quickly talk about lighting because it's something that's surprisingly important. Eye strain for designers and artists is something that we all need to be more cautious about. And if you're sitting in a room that's too dark with a screen that's too bright all the time, it's gonna mess up your eyes. It's gonna do some damage to your eyes, right? As you guys see, I like having a nice lighting setup. This one's a little over exaggerated because we're doing a video right now. So it really depends on your setup. All lamps nowadays are LEDs. An affordable one would be the Tautronics LED desk lamp. If you want a more expensive one, just for fun, maybe look at the BenQ e-reading desk table lamp. What I like about this one is that it's got really wide illumination. It like really lights up a room. It's beautiful. And it's also just great great to have like nice lighting and light the room in the way that you feel comfortable. Like, look at this. Look how awful this looks. Hang on. This is with the standard lighting in here. Terrible. It's just a giant, you can't see, it's just a giant lamp beaming light down in here. I absolutely despise it. We as creatives, we're at our best when we're feeling comfortable and we've built our little nest that allows us to be our best selves and create. So take some time, if you got a little extra money and time, mess around with some lighting. Maybe we'll do some future videos on that. Okay, let's turn this off. Oh my God, so much better. For extra bonus points, if you want to feel like that extra sense of accomplishment and you really like your desk to be super clean, then cable management is really important. Making sure your cables are all out of the way, you don't have to worry about them. I won't name each brand because it's kind of redundant. I'll just put a link in the description. The 3 main things you're going to need are cable ties, a cable organizer box, and cable sleeves. Even if you spend a decent amount of money, it's like $50 max for all 3 of those things, and then you can keep your desk and all the cables in there like super organized and out of the way. It feels amazing. Okay, 2 more things I want to mention are super underrated, but I do think everyone needs to have them, are wrist support and anti-fatigue mats. I kind of touched on this when we talked about the keyboards, but a lot of keyboards, they are not ergonomically friendly. So if you want to grab a keyboard that isn't, it's okay. Just make sure you at least take a look at some wrist supports as well. And all it does is help keep your wrist nice and straight. No carpal tunnel for me. If you're gonna be using a standing desk, I'd also recommend getting an anti-fatigue mat. It's just like a standing mat that goes at your feet. And then when you use it, it's just got some nice support for your feet, helps your back, helps your spine. Honestly, the Amazon Basics one is totally fine. That's the one I normally use. It's helped a lot. Okay, that's pretty much all I can think of, guys. All the links are in the description, so go check out everything I talked about. I've added a few extra things in there as well, a few little bonus kisses. I will leave you with a few closing thoughts. Number 1, balance your budget, okay? Start small as possible, and then continually grow. Like all this stuff I have here, I didn't buy it all at once. This has taken me years and years to build out, right? I started with a crappy desk, a crappy computer, crappy keyboard, everything was terrible, and I've slowly learned what I like and built it out, right? You don't have to go crazy right away. Secondly, ergonomics matter, okay? Listen, invest in your health. All right. As artists, our mental and physical health is so important. If our bodies and minds aren't happy, we're not going to produce our best work. Period. And it just sucks. Okay. Invest in yourself, invest in your health. And finally, I encourage you to experiment. This is your workflow. This is your place. This is your home, your nest. Tools are personal to the artist. Okay. Experiment with things, try crazy things you didn't think were going to work, and see what works for you. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next video.